What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back here again after another Locals, coming at you with another deck profile. I'm gonna go over Dlink again. Can't cap. I will be forever playing that deck until they ban Spheres, which probably won't happen because it takes a very good player to play fucking Dlink effectively, which I'm not stating I'm a good player, but I am trying. I wanted to give a couple shout outs before I started this video, which I don't really do, and kind of go over the tournament. I'll go over the tournament first. Round 1, I got the bye because they started pairings a minute before my friend got Neuron downloaded so he could sign up. So I got bye round 1. Round 2, I went against Medolce. It was a 2-1 loss. Game 1, my Gamma just wasn't enough. I Gamma'd the teacher because he already had so much in hand, and like that I knew that was just too much extension, so I Gamma'd that to try to save myself. It did effectively work for about a turn, but then he ended up pulling it together and OTKing me game 1. Game 2, I just blew him out really fast. Ended up being able to make Boral Sword. I just showed him the Boral Sword, and we Gamma'd to game 3. Game 3, he made Rafflesia right away because he opened up Magdalene Saloon, and that's Salon. That's pretty broken, pretty good. So Nibiru did nothing because I just got Gravediggers, and then he OTK'd me on the follow-up. So that was that. Round 3, I went against Altergeist, and that was a quick 2-0. Just blew him out really fast with a goes-in match on game 2. Game 1 was just really swift too, as well, just because, I guess. Twin Twisters is a really good card. And round 3, I was supposed to go against Live Twin Unchained, but I know that matchup really well. Number 1, I have extensive testing against it because my buddy Brian, shouts out Brian, plays that deck, or he used to. He plays just Unchained now, but my testing against that deck is quite literally the most, and he just didn't want to play. He was playing Digimon, I think, but I already know I blew that guy out. But he did well enough to go x-1 up until we got to the final round, because we were at table 2, so I wouldn't have been a down pair at that point. Nonetheless, got 5th place overall, but they ended up increasing the prize pool because we had like 4 x-1s, including myself. So I ended up basically tying for 4th in a way. But shouts out to Alex, shouts out to Brian, shouts out to Mike, shouts out to Nick for the week that you helped me test this deck. Jason, and literally Dre, Jad, everyone who's helped me really get this deck together and get my shit together when it comes to being a decent Yu-Gi-Oh player. For a long time I really enjoyed this game, but I didn't have make any great efforts to increase my ability in playing, in technical play, I should say. And within the last year and a half, I've definitely increased that. I'm not the best player in the world, but I definitely do enjoy the game, and I enjoy the time that I have deck theorying with my friends on a bunch of different crazy concoctions that we all come up with. And yeah, man, so thank you to my community, and I'll see you guys later. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get into my x-1 4-round Dlink deck profile. I'm not going to go over very many of my card choices because everything's pretty standard. This is actually the list that I came up with post playing in the tournament over the weekend. I'll tell you what I played over what was in the main, or what's in the main now. So to start off with the Chaos Engine, I played 3 starters, Safer Dragon. It's one of your best starters. The Pseudo Chaos space bound, just levy back to your hand, Chaos Dragon, or Savage, just depending on what you want to bounce back. It's just a really good card. Then the babies, Levy, Chaos Creator, and 3 Chaos Space. I know some people choose not to play this card, but I think the ability to bounce back your extra deck guys and recycle them, making it almost like a 4th Chaos Space to be able to recycle your stuff, is really strong. Into the Rokket Engine, we play 3 Rokket Tracer, 2 Rokket Recharger, and 1 Synchron alongside 2 Abstract Dragon for generic extension with these cards. And then 3 quick launch to back up this engine because you want consistency to your tuners. 1 Boot Sector, gotta get an Ultra. 2 Noctivision. The more I play this card, which I was initially playing 3, the more I don't like it as much. I think it's really good at 2, but I see too many hands where I'll see this, Levy, and Abs Router. Those are quite literally, I see those 3 cards in combination together so often, and usually I play 1 Abs Router, but I figured having the 2/2 split would be really strong. The last cards for the Dragon Engine are going to be 2 World Legacy Guard Dragon, 1 Dragon Ravine, and the Chamber Dragon Maid package. Just put her right here because she's pretty. You need this engine to play this deck, I truly do think. If you don't have chambers, it's still worth it to play tidying and even pick up a parlor at that point, just because parlor plus any other extender is still the tidying, or not tidying, but the spheres combo, which is good. But if you can get Chamber Dragon Maid, get Chamber Dragon Maid. Into your hand traps, you play 3 Gamma, 3 Veiler, 2 Bell, and 1 Driver. These would be Ashes, but I don't actually own Ash, and because I don't really think it's that great of a card. They were initially Nibiru's alongside, like I said, the 3rd Noctivision. I wasn't actually playing the World Legacy Guard Dragon, but after playing this weekend, Monster Reborn was a really strong card. I never wanted to revive anything big anyways, and I never really wanted to take from my opponent's graveyard, so I figured World Legacy Guard Dragon would just be a really good extender. It's the same card, basically, except it gives you a higher ceiling with your Guard Dragon Pisty, though that combo doesn't come up very much, but that's a 40 card main deck. Into the extra, which my extra deck pretty much didn't change. There's only one change, actually. Striker Dragon Pisty, Double Spheres, Romulus. I forgot to play Alki Fibrax over the weekend. I forgot to put it in there, so I was playing Hope Harbinger because I just thought it was in there and it wasn't. It was in my Mermail deck, even though that this doesn't come up too much. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It's not that big of a deal. You don't have to play this card. Quad, Standard, Mandatory, IP, Unicorn, Boral Sword, Apollosa, Chaos Creator, Boral Savage, Scarlight. I got my ulti. And 1 Hot Red. That's a 15 card extra deck right there. All very standard. I was playing 3 Spheres, but I chose to drop the 3rd Spheres because while it is good, I really wanted the generic extension into Unicorn. I was already playing Apollosa, so I dropped the 3rd Spheres for the Unicorn for that generic bounce removal. And then into the side deck. This changed just slightly. I got a 3rd Nibiru, so I decided to move it to the side deck because I think that the Bell is just a little better in the main. And this is a little more matchup dependent, not too much, but my locals is a lot of back row players, so Nibiru doesn't come up to all that much in some matchups. Dark Ruler no more. I actually never side this card in, but it's always makes me really uncomfortable whenever I don't play this card, so I might as well put it in there. And then my 6 favorite cards are going to be the Cosmics and the Twins. I resolved Twins against a Geist player round 2, I believe, round 2 or 3, and he activated Metaverse and activated Secret Village straight from the deck, and then he Resolution Chain Multi-Faker, at which point a Chain Twin Twisters discarding something and blew him out from there. He still had 2 more back row, but it was pretty easy to play through. And then another card that hits that's really strong in this deck, and I recommend to all Dragon Link players, is Gozen Match. It can hurt us, that is true, but locking ourselves into darks isn't that big of a deal all in all. And against Tri-Brigade, Geist, Unchained, believe it or not, somebody actually plays that deck. 2 people do at my locals, which was actually one of my rounds, even though him and I didn't play, but I would have taken it anyways. But this shits on any deck that plays multiple attributes, and you can play around it. Even if you just go Sphere set goes in past Sphere's tributes itself, yeah, it's a light, but it'll allow you to summon anything because you have no attribute lock on field once you use the Sphere's effect. So that's pretty strong. But that's the main extra inside. The only things that really changed were I took out the Titanic Galaxy. It was pretty useless. And then I also dropped the Noctivision and added an Absol-Router. I added the World Legacy Guard Dragons back in, and I dropped the Nibirus from the main to the side because it is a little matchup dependent. I took Strikes out of the side deck. That was another big change that happened. I was playing 2 Strike, 2 Gozen, which Strike is a really powerful card. But I just don't think that while this deck can play it super well, it's the best, because every time I've played Strike, it's been super good, but I just feel like there is better, more consistent options. I did go x-1 last night, my only loss being to Medolce, because he opened up Cracked. You can't do anything about it. He quite literally outplayed me. Game 1, he opened up Broke, and my Gamma wasn't enough to stop him. I think I Gammaed the effect of the teacher, because he'd already had so much advantage on board. It was like, yeah, I just might as well get rid of this Xyz monster so he can't make the big bitch. Game 2, I blew him out right away and OTK'd him on turn 2. And then game 3, I had Nib, but he made Rafflesia right away because he opened up double Mageline and Salon. So his field was just really cracked. Round 1, I got the bye. Round 2, I played Medolce. Round 3 was the guy's matchup, and I blew him out. I was a 2-0. And then round 4 was going to be Live Twin Unchained. I have extensive testing against that deck because my buddy Brian was playing it for a little bit. When we played at the PPG, he played that deck, and it's okay. I mean, the kid that was playing it did well enough to go x-1 up until the final round, and he just didn't want to play the matchup because he knew I was going to go pretty much, and he was also focused on something else. But nonetheless, I think Dragon Link's a really strong deck for this format. Obviously, I think it'll be strong going forward until they ban seals, which I don't think will ever happen because this deck isn't topping enough. This deck has kind of fallen into like a Sky Striker niche where it takes a pretty decent pilot to play this deck. I mean, yeah, anybody can throw Spheres up past, but can you play past that is the real question. But just want to say thank you for coming to my deck profile. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you have any likes, comments, or suggestions, also let me know. And I will catch you guys later. Dragon Lunking.